Yasu Malagedo. Welcome to the Malaka podcast. Heath Ledger.
Think you're smart, huh? You try to hire goons. They'll just do the same to you. Oh, criminals in this town used to believe in things. Honor. Respect. Look at you. What do you believe in, huh? What do you believe in?
I believe whatever doesn't kill you simply makes you stranger.
Whew. Damn. Yeah. Hey, listen. We all know where it's from. Okay. I don't even have to say anything at this point. Okay. One of the best openings to a movie ever. One of the best characters of all time in a movie ever. Heath Ledger made this role really special. Unfortunately, he was not able to see it when he was alive. You know, the grand opening, you know, see the success, you know, all the joy it brought people. And it's unfortunate. It really is. But Heath Ledger, really good actor, good human being. Really, you know, guys, I want to do this podcast for a while about him. And I couldn't really find anything, really. I mean, there's one thing. I remember back in the day, he did an interview and he was eating oranges or something during the interview. I mean, that's like, I mean, again, he played the Joker, man. I mean, he did probably, a lot of people would argue, one of the best versions of the Joker ever. If the guy wants to eat an orange, fucking let him, okay? If anything, here's the irony in this, and maybe I'm reading way too much into this, and usually I do with certain things. One of the best iconic roles of all time, Marlon Brando in The Godfather. What was that movie obsessed with? Oranges. Again, reading way too much into it. But, like I said, it's a shame that he's not alive today, you know, to see the success and all the joy he's brought people with his movies and everything, you know, he's done in his life. And, I mean, the guy was a really creative guy. You know, he was able to take this role and just make it his. He knew what he had to do, you know, with all his roles. And, you know, I mean, the guy was a classically trained actor. You know, ladies loved him, of course, you know. But at the same time, he was more than that. He wanted to be more than that. And he proved himself, you know, over and over with his movies. And, you know, again, it's just a shame that he's not alive today. And God only knows what else more he could have done. But he was still able to leave his mark. And not a lot of actors can say that these days. And, you know, he did a phenomenal job. And there's a great special that was out there called I Am Heath Ledger. And, you know, it just talks about, you know, his life and what he liked and, you know, people that were close around him, you know, talking about him. And I definitely urge you to watch that. And, yeah, it's just, you know, it is a real shame, you know, that he's not here with us. But, again, you know, if you keep someone's memory alive by talking about them, they never truly die. So, if you guys don't mind, I would like to talk about Mr. Heath Ledger today. And, of course, with the help of Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia always helps me out. Except one time when they told me the producer, Scott Storch, try saying that 5 times fast, was originally from Canada. But, you know, hey, we all make mistakes. So, if you guys don't mind, let's do this. Heath Andrew Ledger, born April 4th, 1979, and passed away January 22nd, 2008, was an Australian actor and music video director. After playing roles in several Australian television and film productions during the 1990s, Ledger moved to the United States in 1998 to develop his film career further. His work consisted of 20 films, including 10 Things I Hate About You, The Patriot, A Knight's Tale, Monsters Ball, Lords of Dogtown, Brokeback Mountain, Candy, I'm Not Here, The Dark Knight. I don't know if you guys have heard of that one. The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus, the latter two being posthumous releases. He also produced and directed music videos and inspired to be a film director. For his portrayal of Ines Del Mar in Brokeback Mountain, Ledger won the New York Film Critics Circle Award for Best Actor and the Best International Actor Award from the Australian Film Institute. He was the first actor to win the latter award posthumously. He was nominated for a BAFTA Award, Screen Actors Guild Award, Golden Globe Award, and the Academy Award for Best Actor, becoming the 8th youngest nominee in the category at that time. Posthumously, he shared the 2007 Independent Spirit Robert Altman Award with the rest of the ensemble cast. The director and the casting director for the film I'm Not There, which was inspired by the life and songs of American singer-songwriter Bob Dylan. In the film, Ledger portrayed a fictional actor named Robbie Clark, one of 6 characters embodying aspects of Dylan's life and persona. Ledger died on January 22, 2008, as a result of an accidental overdose of medications. A few months before his death, Ledger had finished filming his role as the Joker in The Dark Knight. At the time of his death, The Dark Knight was in post-production, and the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus, in which he was playing his last role as Tony, was in midst of filming. His death affected the subsequent promotion of The Dark Knight. His performance as the Joker in The Dark Knight earned him universal acclaim and popularity from fans and critics alike. Ledger also received numerous posthumous awards for his work on The Dark Knight, including the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor, a Best Actor International Award at the 2008 Australian Film Institute Awards, the 2008 Los Angeles Film Critics Association Award for Best Supporting Actor, the 2009 Golden Globe Award for Best Supporting Actor in a Motion Picture, and the 2009 BAFTA Award for Best Supporting Actor. So yeah, guys, I've said this before and I'll say it again. I did a whole podcast on the Joker, the character itself. I do believe that it is the best fictional bad guy of all time, not just in superhero form or movies or comic books, whatever, just in general. And, to get this role, I mean, it's a role you got to do. I mean, Cesar Romero, Jack Nicholson, and then next up, Heath Ledger. Now, of course, a lot of people, were kind of weirded out that he was going to do the role, but as you could see, it clearly worked out. Him and Christopher Nolan knew exactly what they were doing, and it's just, I truly believe it's one of the best roles of all time from an actor in movie history. Absolutely. I would at least put it top 10 for sure. I put it up there with Brando, Daniel Day-Lewis in There Will Be Blood. I mean, I could go on forever, but it is definitely, without a doubt, one of the biggest iconic roles in movie history. And if you guys don't mind, I like to go on fascinated.com. They always help me out here with a couple facts. And I like to read them off to you. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with being a little strange, like the Joker said. Okay? If everybody was normal, it'd be a boring world. I mean, think about it. We all got our quirks, right? So, let's begin. When he was 11 years old, Ledger played field hockey for the Kalamunda Hockey Club. He was so serious about hockey that from 1990 to 1992, his own dad became the president of the club. People even thought he might have a chance as a professional field hockey player, but he ultimately chose acting. Thank God. I played field hockey. I remember one time I literally landed right on my ass. And when you land right on your ass, like it shoots like a pain right in your spine. It sucks. I mean, it's not good. It's not good. Do you guys know any famous field hockey players? Exactly. No disrespect to the sport. I don't want to hear shit. I don't want anybody sending me pieces of a stick in the mail. I'm just saying. Okay. Do you know any famous bowlers too? Exactly. So we all like bowling. Anyways, Ledger was born in Perth, Australia. Some of his first films were shot there. For example, Clowning Around, which was his debut film. He had a small part playing an orphan clown. Oof. Wow. Sign of things to come, eh? Eerily, though, this means that his first and last complete film roles were playing clowns. Fuck. Jeez. Listen, some things are just meant to be, man. Wow. Holy shit. I did not know that. Wow. Okay. Oh, God, like I didn't have the chills before. Okay, while he was born in Australia, Ledger's family heritage is actually a mix of Scottish, Welsh, Irish, Sephardi, I hope I said that right, and even a sprinkle of Judaism. Wow, okay, there you go. A little bit of everything, why not? It's like a buffet. In case you doubt his Australian heritage, believe me, I've heard him speak. Trust me. I don't think anybody would ever doubt his voice. When he was a child, his mother found a kangaroo, I hate more stereotypes, and taking pity on the poor creature, she decided to give it to her son to raise it as a pet. How cool is this motherfucker? Not only does he get to play the Joker, but he has a pet kangaroo. I mean... But according to The Simpsons, like when you go into the pouch there, it's actually like liquid and shit. So I don't know. You got to be careful. But still, that's pretty cool, man. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you can teach you how to box and shit. That's cool. Growing up, Heath was the only son in the family. He was particularly close with his elder sister, Kate, who was an actress and sparked his love of acting. His parents divorced when he was 11, and he also has two half-sisters, Ashley and Olivia, from their other marriages. Listen, not all marriages work out. 50%, bupkis, you know, it is what it is. What are you going to do? But in the end, he was raised by strong women around him, and again, everything worked out. He's got the kangaroo. I mean, what more do you want in life? Heath's mom, Sally, was a French teacher, and she loved to read classic literature. In fact, she named her first two children, Kate and Heath, after the dark, disturbed couple in Emily Bronte's. Is that how you say it? Okay. At this point, guys, I don't know much about reading. Wuthering Heights, Catherine and Heathcliff. Again, cool family. He's got the kangaroo. He's named after one of the coolest cats in comic book history. I mean, that's, you know, come on. Like, awesome. Ledger's most iconic role is certainly his take on the classic Batman villain, the Joker, in Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight. His co-stars in the film often mention his remarkable restraint. He would never do the Joker voice or laugh like the villain unless cameras were rolling, keeping his truly disturbing behavior locked in until the right moments. Okay. So this is very important to know because a lot of people think, you know, I mean, we're going to get way more into this later. I got literally 4 pages of this shit. So yeah, 4 pages. So buckle in. Yeah, you know, people think, you know, he did this role and it just cost him his life and he's disturbed and blah, 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 blah. Shut up. It's all folklore. It's all bullshit. Okay. The guy loved doing what he did, you know, like off camera, he would joke around a lot, you know, you can go online, you can Google search it, you'll see him like with the makeup, making funny faces with the cast and the crew and all that, you know, that's it, you know, I mean, And again, if you're, a method actor, I've always said this. If you're a true method actor, you should be able to turn it off and on just like that, okay? Again, I mentioned Daniel Day-Lewis before. When he played Lincoln, like he would go into the subway as Lincoln and go up to people and say, "Oh, what's this weird device you have here?" And somebody would go, "It's a fucking cell phone." Like, what's with the beard? And that's it. Like, and again, I'm not dissing Daniel Day-Lewis or nothing. The guy's a phenomenal actor, But at the same time, a lot of people don't want to be Lincoln for 6 months. Just do your own thing, and that's it. And like he was able to do that. So that's that's pretty awesome. So again, all this bullshit that this role cost him his life or whatever, just shut up. I mean, the guy had fun doing it, and that's why he took it. That's why you want to entertain people and have a good time. The distinctive wounds on the Joker's face in The Dark Knight actually have a specific name. They are called Glasgow Smile. Now, I didn't know that. Now, again, I'm going to get way more into that later on. But I have a picture of the Joker here as a bobblehead. I don't know. That doesn't... No, it's not good. Ledger was something of a Renaissance man. And his interest didn't just stop at playing field hockey and acting. He was also an avid chess fan. He played in many tournaments from a young age. As an adult, you could even sometimes find him playing chess in Washington Square Park and in New York City. Cool. All right. So listen, you got to be a smart guy to play chess. Okay. I remember one time I played my dad in chess. He literally beat me in 3 moves. Okay. I said, fuck it. Let's play Monopoly. Smoked him. When he was only 13 years old, Ledger starred in his first role as Peter Pan in a local school production in Perth. Everybody's got to start somewhere, right? Right, Fascinate. That is true. That is, again, good role to have. Peter Pan, a lot of great people have played him. Of course, Robin Williams, rest in peace. Loved that movie as a kid. Still love it now. Who am I kidding? Looky, I got hooky. So good little role to have. Why not? He went to a private academy called Guildford Grammar, and there wasn't enough time to participate in both sports and drama club after school. He chose drama. Once again, you made the right choice. Heath was eager to get out of high school and pursue his acting career as soon as possible. When he was 17, by the way, in Fascinate here, they put the was twice, all right? So I'm just looking out for you guys. We'll call it even for Give Me the Facts. He sat in for exams that would give him a diploma. When the scores came back high enough, he left school for good and started acting. It was a brave move. Aside from school plays, Ledger was never classically trained as an actor. Again, just a natural talent. Didn't Lisa Simpson do that in an episode of The Simpsons? She faked going to university just to take the classes and see how good she would do, and because she liked it. And that's the thing about really smart people I've noticed. Not me. I mean, you could see the way I read, but they get bored very easy, so they always need more challenges. Hence, acting. I mean, you take these big roles, aka the Joker. I mean, that's where it stems from, guys. That's it. It's that easy. That's it. I mean, it's easier for those people. For me, Hooked on Phonics didn't work. Ledger actually loved to dance. He was inspired by Gene Kelly, the famous actor, singer, and tap dancer who starred in musicals during the 1940s and 50s. While he never starred in a musical, Ledger shows off some of his moves. The 2001 film A Knight's Tale, and even has a little number in 10 Things I Hate About You. Again, we're going to get more into that in just a little bit. That was me trying to tap dance with bare feet. I don't know why I did that. Perhaps unsurprisingly, Ledger admitted that the film role he was most proud of was playing the Joker in The Dark Knight. Are we surprised or no? Exactly. By 2002, Ledger was famous enough to be offered the role of Peter Parker in Spider-Man. A move that would inspire. Again, guys, I'm looking out for you. You're giving me a lot of facts. I get it. You know, my mom was a grammar, English teacher. I can help you out. Again, with the reading, I don't know. Maybe she should have spent more time on that. But anyways, Mom, I love you. A move that would still probably shock people today, especially with the success of a Marvel Cinematic Universe. He turned the role down. Of course he did. Of course he did, because obviously we know that Tobey Maguire did it. He killed it. Not so much in 3, but I don't know. Story for another time. But yeah, I did not know that. I'm trying to think. Heath Ledger as Spider-Man. Shit. I don't know. I don't know. But a blonde Spider-Man? I don't know. I think, But then again, we didn't see James Bond as a blonde either. So, that worked out quite nicely. So, hey, you never know. You never know. Spider-Man with an Australian accent. No. Ledger admitted to being an introvert and was painfully shy around new people. He explained that while he could pretend to be outgoing while acting, he had a hard time when just being himself. That's okay. We all do. Sometimes when you meet someone, you don't know how to act, and, I get it. That's the problem with people out there. You see these people on the big screen, and, they're literally larger than life, and you think, they don't have insecurities and shyness too. He's human like everybody else. That's it. Again, he played the Joker. He doesn't have to prove anything. Over the course of his life, Ledger was romantically linked to a bevy of, is it Bevy or Bevy? Bevy of beautiful actresses. No shit. Including Naomi Watts, Heather Graham, even his 10 Things I Hate About You co-star Julia Stiles. But it was another co-star, Michelle Williams, that he had one of his most important relationships. They met on the set of Brokeback Mountain and lived together until 2007. In 2005, they also had a child together, Matilda Rose Ledger. There you go. Listen. Him, Brad Pitt, George Clooney, these guys could spend the rest of their lives literally on their backs. But they're here to entertain us in film, so God bless them. And it's... Listen, I'm not going to lie to you. If you're a male actor, this is definitely one of the perks. When asked which role of his he liked the least, Ledger admitted that he was most disappointed in himself with his portrayal of the famous lover Casanova in 2005 film of the same name. Ironically, he seemed to have played that role awesomely in real life, so fuck it. During an interview, Ledger was asked if he felt nervous or uncomfortable playing the role of a homosexual for Brokeback Mountain. He replied that the only thing that bothered him was that he wished he was a more mature actor because he was afraid he would not do the story of Ines Del Mar justice. There you go. That's how much he cared about the role, guys. Again, we'll talk about this more in a little bit. After his death, the Australians in Film Society created a scholarship in Heath Ledger's name. It is awarded to promising young Australian actors living in the United States in order to help their careers. Ledger's father donates money to this scholarship every year. Beautiful. See, you keep again, guys, you keep the, Heath Ledger's life going, people won't forget him, it's a nice thing, if you're lucky enough to get into that business, you want to give back. So that's awesome. Before filming Brokeback Mountain, the producers wanted Heath Ledger and Jake Gyllenhaal to attend a cowboy training camp. hosted by Clint Eastwood. No, that's bullshit. I'm sorry. Like, how cool would that be, though? Get off my lawn. Get off my horse. Ledger told them that he didn't need it. Since he grew up in Australia, he already had the skills of a cowboy. There you go. Save time. Already knows what to do. Save the money, a few bucks. There you go. Everybody's happy. When Christopher Nolan was casting Batman Begins, he was in talks with Ledger to get him to play the role of Bruce Wayne and therefore Batman. Maybe Ledger had a thing against superheroes. As with Spider-Man, he turned the part down. But when Ledger saw the final product, he immediately regretted it and chased down Nolan to sign on for the part of the Joker in The Dark Knight. Again, thank God. Okay? Again, Heath Ledger as Bruce? I don't see it. I don't know. Again, like a blonde Bruce Wayne? I mean, I don't know. Again, thank God everything worked out. So don't worry. Okay? You know? Again, Jesus, good looking out. If you ever thought that the infamous interrogation scene in The Dark Knight looked oddly realistic, it's because it was. Ledger asked Christian Bale to actually hit him. As Bale put it, he was kinda egging me on. I was saying, you know what? I really don't need to actually hit you. It's going to look just as good if I don't. And he's going, go on, go on, go on. He was slamming himself around. His commitment was total. There you go. When you commit to the role, guys, just go for it. That's all. You know. But again, you know, you never start with the head because, you know, you know the rest. Michael Caine, who played Alfred in The Dark Knight, was terrified when he saw Heath Ledger in the Joker makeup for the first time. During a rehearsal for the film, Ledger walked out of the elevator to wreak havoc on the party scene. And Caine was so distressed to see him like that, he promptly forgot his lines. And yeah, guys, again, we're going to get more into that later. But yeah, if you watch that scene when he comes right off the elevator, look at Michael Caine in the background. He looks scared as shit. Yeah, it looks pretty awesome. Ledger's Joker sets a lot of high bars for the Batman franchises. He was the first non-American actor to play the character, the youngest actor at the time to don the white makeup, the Don. See, again with the Godfather, forget it. And of course, the role also made him the first person to win a posthumous Oscar for Best Supporting Actor. Listen, we all knew that year he was going to win. It was pretty obvious. It just, you know, I mean, even to this day, people still say, like, he was a supporting actor? Really? He wasn't a lead actor? And listen, either way, he had it. We all know that. Ledger was also only the second person in history, period, to receive an Oscar after his death. Peter Finch, who died in 1977, was the first. Finch won for the film Network, in which he gives a memorable, crazed rant as anchorman Howard Beale. Yeah, that's a good movie too. After his death, there was a surge of fabricated stories about Ledger, including one that stated he designed his makeup for the Joker. Although this is not the case, he was an active part of the design process. For example, when the makeup artists were putting on his makeup, Ledger would contort his face into clownish expressions, letting the makeup crease and creating the impression that it had been caked on for days. Yeah, now here they got a picture of him without it being creased and all that. It almost looks like it looks like It doesn't look good. I'll be honest with you. I mean, this is the first time I'm seeing this without like the crinkles and all that. But yeah, it looks like a plastic mask. It doesn't look as real. It looks more. Yeah, it looks like shit. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, definitely made the right move there. And if anything, listen, you're gonna move around and everything. Like the Joker's running around wreaking havoc. I mean, he's not a model. He's not going to keep the same face, going up and down the street. It's going to get a little crinkled. So, yeah, definitely a good move there. Although Ledger was very devoted to the role of the Joker in The Dark Knight, people on set also revealed how kind and heartwarming he was to the cast and crew. John Caglione Jr., I hope I said that right, the man behind the Joker's iconic makeup, said that Ledger would joke and smoke cigarettes between takes. The Joker's a smoker. All right. And would often skateboard around the shooting location. All right. Skateboarding's cool. I tried skateboarding once. I forget. I'm going to break the board. It's kind of ironic because then later on, look, I'll be honest. I never liked Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man. I mean, great actor, great in Social Network, and was it the Hacksaw Ridge? Great, but yeah. But then in the first one, he was skateboarding. I'm like, hey, Spider-Man's not a skateboarder, so I don't know. So again, maybe again, it was for the best he wasn't Spider-Man. So let's just say that. During the filming of The Dark Knight, Ledger would go off script, just like I do often on this podcast, if he thought it was something the Joker would really do. This led to some of the film's most iconic moments, including when the Joker is sitting in a cell and slowly claps with a menacing smile at Commissioner Gordon's promotion. Likewise, the moment where the bomb doesn't go off and the Joker mumbles to himself before making it detonate was totally improvised. This was actually just a pyrotechnic error that Ledger worked with to produce a hilarious, character-defining moment. More in a little bit. Ledger was known for his almost dangerous commitment to his roles. Probably the most famous and darkest example of his dedication came with his work in The Dark Knight. In order to get a sense of what it's like to be insane like the Joker, Ledger locked himself in a hotel room for weeks on end. Yeah. But again, more in a bit. Since the original Mad Max was an Australian movie starring Mel Gibson, the producers of the 2015 remake had been considering their new star for a very long time. They wanted to cast Ledger since he was also Australian and obviously a great actor. Of course, Tom Hardy eventually took on the role years after Ledger's tragic passing. I did not know that. Yeah, it makes sense, I guess. I mean, carry on the tradition there. I'm not going to lie to you guys. As a side note, I can never get into the Mad Max movies. I don't know. I mean, the second one was okay, but I don't know. I just never get into. I love the new one. I think the new one's awesome. I don't think you're going to see Tom Hardy and Charlize Theron ever work together again. But other than that, I mean, I thought it was a great movie, good special effects and all that. But I don't know. The other ones, I just can never get into. I don't know. Sue me. Since he was shy, it was thought that Ledger secretly liked being behind the camera more than he liked being in front of it. One of his hobbies was making home movies, and he would usually carry a video camera around. In the documentary, I Am Heath Ledger, one of his close friends commented that for Ledger, acting was just a means to get into directing. He worked on a few music videos, but his dream was to direct the movie adaptation of the novel The Queen's Gambit by Walter Tevis. Well, I thought that sounded familiar because just I think around the beginning of the pandemic there, the series came out, The Queen's Gambit, on Netflix, starring Anya Taylor-Joy. who apparently is going to be another voice in the Mario movie coming up. But yeah, so that eventually came to go, and yeah, it would have been interesting to see what the Heath Ledger would have done with that. Again, guys, as a side note, I tried to watch this series. I couldn't get into it. I don't know, but it makes sense because it's about chess and all that. So there you go. Maybe if Mr. Ledger directed it, maybe I would have been more into it. Who knows? Before Ledger's tragic death on January 22nd, 2008, there were a few devastating warning signs. Ledger had always had trouble sleeping and struggled with bouts of insomnia, but it was particularly bad just before his death, and he began regularly taking sleeping pills. Okay, so again, guys, who doesn't have trouble sleeping once in a while, okay? But some people have it really bad where, you're in and out of sleep, so you can't, get into a good groove, with sleeping. And unfortunately, you got to take some medication. I shouldn't say unfortunately, because, it's kind of like the norm now, But at the same time, you got to be careful what you're, mixing with. And, again, always consult the doctor, never take things into your own hands, of course, That's what the doctors are there for. So, it's a real shame with Heath Ledger here and the way it ended up, but yeah, that definitely sucks, But again, talk about it with your doctor whenever you got the chance. Don't be shy. We're living in an age, just you can talk about anything. And don't Google it, okay? Actually talk to a doctor, okay? Again, not this in Google. Google's helped me many times, but, a doctor, go straight to the source. Ledger's co-star on the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus, Christopher Plummer, also noted that Ledger was having other health problems just before his death and driving himself into the ground. As he said, "We all caught colds because we were shooting outside on horrible damp nights. But Heath went on, and I don't think he dealt with it immediately with the antibiotics." Okay, well, again, he was there. We weren't. We don't know what happened there. I don't know. Who knows? Not making fun of Christopher Plummer, just saying, That's the thing, guys. We just don't know. In the end, only Heath Ledger knew. So, again, it's a shame the way it went down. And, yeah, again, always consult your doctor. Your doctor always knows, okay? My doctor, God, I break his balls all the time. The last time I talked to him, we got into a huge fight, and he was like, "Well, if you don't like my opinion, you can go somewhere else." I'm like, "Shut up, okay? Just listen. I know what you're saying is fine. Don't worry. You don't have to take it personally, And again, a lot of these doctors, they do things by the book. They know what to do, They've studied. So, give them the benefit of a doubt, okay? I think they know a little bit more than you do. So, always consult a doctor. In an interview with the New York Times just a couple of months before his death, Ledger told journalist Sarah Lyall, I think I said that right, that his recently completed roles in I'm Not There and The Dark Knight were wearing on him and giving him insomnia. As he said, "Last week I probably slept an average of 2 hours a night. I couldn't stop thinking. My body was exhausted and my mind was still going." Jeez. Oof. Yeah, it's not good. I know if you average, I think like 1 or 2 hours a night of sleep for like a month, I think it'll just get to a point where you might just start sleepwalking in some cases. It depends on, your family history, of course. But yeah, you got to get more than 2 hours sleep. That's for sure. And, I said this, I'm going to say it for the third time. Always consult your doctor, okay? They can always help you out. In the chillingly prophetic passage, he admits in the interview to recently taking 2 Ambien pills because just one wouldn't let him sleep. Yeah, usually one should just knock you out. Maybe some people have a big tolerance or whatever. Again, I don't know his situation, whatever. I'm just reading off Fascinate here. But yeah, again, 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Consult your doctor, okay? Again, maybe it's it's something more, than just medication. Who knows? I'm not saying Heath Ledger's case. I'm just saying in general. I mean, everyone's different, so, but one should knock you out. I mean, those things are pretty strong. So, again, just consult a doctor. At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, January 22nd, 2008, Heath Ledger's body was found by his housekeeper, Teresa Solomon, and his masseuse, Diana Wolozin, inside his Manhattan apartment. He was lying unresponsive in his bed, and the attempts Wolozin made to perform CPR on the actor proved unsuccessful. He was pronounced dead on the scene at 3:36 p.m. Shit. Oh, man. Yeah. Horrible, guys. I mean, it sucks, I mean, again, like I said, yeah. I don't know what else to say here. Just, you hear all these stories about these actors, going before their time. It sucks, It really does. It's definitely a big what if in the history of acting, for sure. Like, what more would he have done? Maybe, like I said, he would have directed The Queen's Gambit here. I mean, just, the possibilities are endless. Curiously, when Wolozin found Ledger's lifeless body, the first person she called was none other than child star Mary-Kate Olsen. As strange as this sounds, Olsen was a close friend of Ledger's, and in fact, there was some speculation that she supplied the actor with the drugs that would eventually kill him. Even so, Olsen refused to talk to investigators unless she was given immunity, and her representative released a statement denying her knowledge of the origin of the drugs as well as her involvement in the death. Okay. Well, again, guys, this is all speculation. Who the fuck knows what really happened here? I'm just going to say this. The Olsen twins, I never saw the big deal in them. I'm sorry. Like, I get it when they were kids. You got it, dude. All that shit on Full House, whatever. I didn't realize how big these people were until I went to Greece by myself in summer of 2000. Was it 2000? Yeah, 2000. There you go. Oh, that was a blast. Fucking hot as hell though. But yeah, I mean, like, my cousin had all the VHS tapes, and it's just huge overseas, huge everywhere. I mean, these guys must have made millions, and then it's unfortunate that we didn't find out that her younger sister was way more talented. I mean, she's killing it now in the Marvel series. But yeah, patience is a virtue, what can I say? But again, I don't know. They shouldn't say shit like this. I mean, who knows, like, what happened? You know what I mean? So, yeah. It's, either way, guys, it's just, I don't know. It's just sad to think about this. That's all. Surprisingly, Lindsay Lohan and Heath Ledger allegedly had a close bond. Uh-oh. The details are blurry, but her diary reveals she was in love with Ledger around the time of his tragic death. On the day he died, Lohan wrote about how he was the love of her life and how he taught her so much. She goes on to explain that he's all she's ever wanted and that she wants to hear him laugh and for him hold her. For him to hold her. There you go. Okay. I got your back, Fascinated. Don't worry about it. Lohan's mother, Dina Lohan, oh, God, claims they had been seeing each other around this time. And when Lohan's infamous document of intimate partners was leaked in 2014, Heath Ledger was on the list. Okay. Listen, even I know this, being Greek and Italian. Redheads, they're they're again, I'm not saying they're trouble or nothing like that. I don't want to get in shit. I'm just joking around here, but oh my god, they're just awesome. But yeah, they can get you into trouble too. But the point is, I'm just fucking around here. But yeah, I didn't know they had a little bit of a affair here, or I don't know what was going on here, but who knows? Again, yeah, ugh, so much drama, man. Jesus. I mean, Lindsay Lohan. I mean, she was, still good looking. I'm just saying, redheads, man. Love them redheads, man. It's clear that Ledger never thought he would die at only 29 years old. He never wrote his daughter, Matilda, into his last will and testament. It was written before she was born. However, Ledger's family gave Matilda his $16.3 million fortune anyway, saying there is no claim. Our family has gifted everything to Matilda. You know what? That's awesome. They did the right thing, because let's be honest, guys. I mean, when this happens, divorces, especially in Hollywood, just everybody comes out of the thing. Oh, I'm the long lost child. Blah, 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 blah. Just people, everybody wanting a piece of the pie. So it was nice that they gave it all to her. No bullshit. Awesome. That's the right thing to do. Ledger's death also cut short his role in a film he had been working on, The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus. Almost sounds Greek. It probably is. In the film, the last line he says is, "Don't shoot the messenger," which he improvised himself. Shit. Okay. There you go. Man, that is a good line. Yeah. If you go back and watch The Dark Knight carefully, which I think we all have at this point, you can actually see a heartbreaking tribute Ledger left for his daughter. When the Joker is disguised as a nurse in the hospital, look at his name tag closely. It says Matilda, his daughter's name. That's cool. That's nice. I like that. When Ledger tragically died, his ex-partner and the mother of his child, Michelle Williams, was busy filming the movie Mammoth in Sweden. The rest of filming, according to Williams, was horrible, and she admitted that she couldn't even remember most of it. I mean, how can you make a movie once you hear that? You know what I mean? Like, come on, they should have just shut down and, I don't know, do it whenever. I mean, you can't blame her. She's a great actress, by the way. When Ledger died, he was cremated, and his ashes were returned back to Perth, Australia. They were scattered across his family plot where his grandparents are buried in Karrakatta Cemetery. That's nice. You always like that. You become, one with the earth again. That's nice. One of the ways Ledger got into character was by putting together a scrapbook filled with inspiration for the Joker, which he made in part during his time isolated in the hotel room. The contents of this journal have been much discussed in the media, but they truly are disturbing. In its pages, Ledger wrote from the perspective of the Joker, who finds humor in geniuses who become mentally handicapped, among other horrific things. The journal also contained stills from Stanley Kubrick's eerie thriller, A Clockwork Orange, photos of clown makeup, and pictures of hyenas. On the last page of the chilling Joker diary, he scrawled the words in bold caps, "Bye-bye." Oh boy. But again, guys, this just adds more to the legend that, this role, was the thing that put him over the edge, and that's why he died. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. Again, he was in character. He's probably just thinking about the Joker, and, look, most stories, or most things end with goodbye, see you later, adios, mañana. That's it, So, again, I think people were just reading way too much into this shit. But, Yeah, those are some crazy facts. I definitely did not know they offered him to be Spider-Man. I'm just thankful. Josh Hartnett turned it down too, because come on. But again, he left a hell of a legacy here. You could tell from all the stuff he's done, the TV shows, movies, all that. And if you guys don't mind, I'd like to go on IMDb and talk about all the roles he's done. Okay, is that okay with you guys? Cool. Again, I'm not a big Rotten Tomatoes fan. I don't get it. I just it's owned by Paramount. Come on, it's one-sided. So IMDb is always the best. So I mentioned this before, but fuck it, I'm gonna mention it again. The first role that Heath Ledger ever did was in a movie where he played an orphan clown, and he was uncredited, called Clowning Around. Again, we mentioned that he started the same way as he ended. Basically, that is pretty eerie. Like, I did not know that. He started in it's in 1992. That's when the movie came out. Okay rating. 6.3 out of 10. What are you gonna do? It says, follows a boy who realizes there is more to being a clown than just clowning around. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I mean, I did one on the Joker. I'm dying to do a podcast on clowns, because I'm not gonna lie. I think clowns are fucking freaky as fuck. It's everything from fucking Bozo to John Wayne Gacy. I mean, just fucking creepy. But anyways, actually, what's funny is the movie poster here. Yeah, it's got a picture of a clown here. He's kind of got the Raggedy Andy kind of wig going there a little bit. Well, not as red, more orange, but 3 hours and 3 minutes. Holy shit. Okay, that's definitely got to be the longest clown movie of all time. Yeah, I mean, even if the movie was really good, I mean, you can't laugh for 3 hours. Fuck. But yeah, it's got the ball rolling, and the first thing he did was a clown. That's pretty crazy. Then he did a TV show called Ship to Shore. Again, I'm assuming most of these they look like more Australian shows. I don't know. I've never seen this, never heard of it. I'm not gonna lie. And he did another TV show called Sweat. He plays a character named Snowy Bowels. I usually have shitty bowels, but anyways, terrific. Sweat. I never heard of this one either. I got nothing. Then he did Black Rock. Played a character named Toby. I don't know what this is. When a young schoolgirl is raped and murdered, the mateship between a group of surfers is tested as the truth is slowly revealed. Okay. Between this and the disturbing clowns, I mean, Jesus, some intense roles, man. Holy shit. Not the best rating, 6 out of 10. But yeah. Another TV show, Home and Away. I don't know this one. And he was in a movie called Pause. It's about dogs. Yep, it's about dogs. Okay. 4.8 out of 10. Okay. I mean, I don't know. Listen, unless the dog is playing basketball, I don't give a shit. Then he was in a TV series called Roar. Is it about lions? No, it's not. It's it's got Heath Ledger on the cover there. Okay, so it's the first cover he made, as far as I could see. 5th century Ireland, a young Celtic chieftain and his allies fight against Roman encroachment. The manipulative pro-Roman puppet ruler of Ireland. Okay, Queen Diana and her immortal advisor who seeks the biblical spears of Longius. All right, here you go. Okay, 7.2 out of 10. That's not bad. It's all right. It's all right. It looks like Heath is ready to do some battle there. You know, he's got the sword. I don't know. Maybe back in the day he should have played Link from Zelda or something. I mean, who knows? He could have maybe pulled that off, But I don't know. Again, if this Mario movie's a hit, I mean, who knows? The possibilities are endless. But we'll see. Maybe that'll be the next trend. Instead of superhero movies, it's just going to be all video games for the next 10, 20 years. We'll see. But yeah, the movie looks all right. I might check this one out. Like I said, 7.2 out of 10. Not a bad rating. Okay, so the year is 1999, which a lot of people consider one of the best years in movie history. If you look back, you will see a ton of great movies. Tons. I don't have time. I mean, I do, but I don't feel like naming them. But this is when I was first introduced to Heath Ledger. A little movie called 10 Things I Hate About You. And he played a character named Patrick Barona. Now, I'll tell you a little story here. So, back in 1999, you basically had two choices to see movies. Okay, you go to the movie theater, you could pay anywhere between $2 to $5. Fuck, I miss those days. Or, you can wait till it hits video, and you can go down the streets, you can go to Blockbuster, which, by the way, Blockbuster at one point, I believe, had the chance to buy Netflix for only $50 million. Good move there. But anyways, yeah, so I remember going down the street. You go to your local store there. You fill out a little card, which I never saw the point because, I mean, I could just be passing by, in my area, get a tape and never return the shit. But anyways, and I saw the movie. I'm looking at the cast. I'm like, okay, I recognize a few people here and there. I recognize Gordon Levitt, I was like, all right, let me check this out. Looks like a good little teen movie. Fuck it. Let me just, let's make a night of it. I remember watching the movie and I'm like, yeah, it's a pretty little decent movie. It's got a good little cast of people. I did mention this before. I did do a podcast on Joseph Gordon-Levitt, another great actor. But check out the cast here, guys. Obviously, you got Heath Ledger there. You got Julia Stiles, Gordon-Levitt, Larissa Nick, I hope I said that right. David Krumholtz, Andrew Keegan, Susan May Pratt, Gabriel Union, who I completely forgot again was in this movie. Dwayne Wade, you're awesome. Larry Miller, Daryl Mitchell, Allison Janney, David Leisure. Great cast of people, guys. Honestly, it is a good little movie. Probably one of the most iconic scenes in this movie is when Heath Ledger, he's, trying to, and I mean, the whole point of this movie is, let me just read IMDb since I'm here. Fuck it. A pretty popular teenager can go out on a date until her ill-tempered older sister does. Listen, it's a very simple plot, but it's, like I said, it's a very good cast. It's pretty good. All right, I'm just saying. So the whole point is was Gordon Levitt and the guy from the Numbers show. Actually, he was really good in the Deuces. Yeah. I know James Franco, whatever. I get it, but still a good show. Anyways, yeah. So they get Heath Ledger here to try to impress or the girl here because Gordon Levitt wants to go out to one girl, but then the sister is the Styles, and it's a whole thing there. So he's doing his best to whatever, do his thing. Interesting fact, though, and I will say this, and I just realized this recently, there is a movie in the 80s, which everybody should check out. It's probably one of the most underrated teen movies I've ever seen, okay? And the movie is called 3 O'Clock High, okay? You've probably never heard of it. The one guy that's in it, I gotta give him his props. He played the bad guy in Kindergarten Cop, the guy with the ponytail. His character in that movie is very... it's almost like him and Heath Ledger. It's very similar. I'm just curious to see if Heath Ledger. The hospital's down the street, but what the fuck was I saying? Oh yeah, so it's very reminiscent on that role. So I'm curious to see if Heath Ledger. I mean, maybe he did some research or something on some teen movies or something. I'm curious. I don't know. I couldn't find anything. Whatever. I mean, well, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't look. But the point is, it's very reminiscent to that. And if you ever see that movie, which you should, you'll see that Heath Ledger's role is very similar to that. Like I said before, the most popular scene in this movie is definitely when Heath Ledger, sings Frankie Valli, Can't Take My Eyes Off of You. He's doing it in the stands there. Very iconic, the way he did it. Very funny, I think people have even done their own little versions themselves, It's one of those things, later on the millennials, try to imitate it. But listen, Heath Ledger did the best. He knew what he was doing, So very good movie. I got to say that. So, it was a surprise that day when I rented it. I'm like, oh, wow, it's actually a good movie. I mean, because you never know, what to expect with these movies, So, but yeah, it was basically his introduction to the North America here. And, it's not bad. I mean, even to this day, people still talk about this role, that little part where he's singing. They eventually made the TV show about it. Was it 8 Simple Rules or something? It's basically based on this movie. So there you go. Yeah, nice, good little start to, the North America acting world. So there you go. So yeah, definitely check that one out. Then he did a movie called Two Hands. We all got him. Well, most of us. Trying to remember this movie. Yeah, I remember this. Yeah, it's a good little. Yeah. I remember this one. Yeah. Because it was a while ago. I mean, well, not a while ago, but again, during the pandemic, we got nothing else to do. I figured, let me go through some Heath Ledger movies I've never heard of, and this is definitely one of them. But this is a good one. It says here, 19-year-old finds himself in debt to a local gangster when some gang loot disappears and sets him on the run from thugs. Meanwhile, 2 street kids start a shopping spree when they find the missing money. There you go. Now, you've heard stories like this before. They you accidentally find the money, then they inherit all the problems, whatever. But this is a good one. I like this one. I like a good heist movie, when it's done right. Yeah, and also Rose Myron. I hope I said that right. Byrene, I think. Yeah, she plays Alex in the movie. I think it's the first movie I ever saw her in, or one of her earlier ones too. So yeah, they both do a really good job in this movie. So 7 out of 10, yeah, that's about right. Maybe 7, 7.5. But yeah, 2 very good performances for sure. So yeah, again, guys, I don't know where you find movies today. It's all online, Netflix. Who knows if they got them or not? What are you gonna do? But if you can find this movie, definitely check it out. The Patriot. Okay, so let's just start off with the obvious. Okay, Mel Gibson. We know what he did. We know, but keep in mind, this is before all that. It's year 2000. Okay, start of a new decade. Unfortunately, didn't really end well, but for him. But I mean, he's still making movies. I don't know. I mean, you've never heard of these movies, but anyways, but then what was it, a few years ago, he gets nominated for Hacksaw Ridge, like I mentioned before. So there you go figure. But anyways, I don't know. And apparently they're gonna make another Lethal Weapon. So I mean, will I see that? Absolutely. I don't give a shit. I mean, they can make Lethal Weapon 10 for all I care. I'm there, man. I mean, if I just want to see how accurate it is to the It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia version. But anyways, I actually remember seeing this movie in theaters, and I thought it was a pretty good movie. I remember my buddy who was in the process of becoming a cop, and and again, I'm not saying like he wasn't a good looking dude or nothing like that, but like you should have seen his girlfriend and the one, and he just proposed to her, and she, I mean, she looked like a Gwyneth Paltrow type, and I was like, you had to give this guy props. I don't know, that this has nothing to do with the movie, but the point is, we went to go see this movie. Good little movie. At the time, I didn't know anything about Heath Ledger. I think maybe even at this point, I didn't even see 10 Things About Hate About You. I think maybe I saw it later on and whatever. But you got to keep in mind, for a guy like Heath Ledger to work with Mel Gibson, a fellow Australian actor. I mean, this is huge. I mean, it'd be like if I was going to work in a movie with Al Pacino. I mean, if this is what you dream of, guys. You know what I mean? A guy that's been doing it for this long and whatever. And yeah, Mel's had his problems, whatever. But you know, I mean, the guy, you know, or at least back in the day, for the most part, he can make a pretty good movie. I mean, and you know, him directing movies too. Still, you got to give him his props on that one. Just on a side note there, I believe he had one of the most expensive divorces in Hollywood history. I think at one point he was worth $840 million, then half. Hopefully it didn't affect the many churches on his property, but maybe it's one now, but I don't know, who knows. The point is, it's a good little movie. What does it say here? Peaceful farmer Benjamin Martin is driven to lead the colonial military during the American Revolution when a sadistic British officer murders his son. Oof. There you go, man. Out for revenge again. You know, it's Mel Gibson. I don't know. People always like him, Harrison Ford. People always fuck with these guys' families. But anyways, give me back my son. Sorry. That's a good movie. What was it, Ransom? Yeah, that was a good one too. Anyways, yeah. So again, this is a huge honor for Heath Ledger, you know, to work with, I'm sure, one of his idols, you know, especially from back home. Yeah, good little war movie. I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. So, got the chance, definitely check this one out. And again, so far, you know, his North American debut, pretty good, man. 10 Things, The Patriot, you know, good little start. So, I think at this point, you know, they're looking at Heath Ledger and they're like, you know what, this guy could be a leading man. You know, he could be the next guy to take it over, whatever. And yeah, pretty much the next movie he did. In 2001, he did A Knight's Tale, where he played William Thatcher. I love this movie. I think it's a great movie. 6.9 out of 10. That's, I mean, again, great number. But the point is, I don't know, maybe 7.5. But this is a really good movie. I do remember when this movie came out, Heath Ledger was pissed off at the movie poster because it just had him. Okay, it's, I don't know, he's doing the whole Tom Cruise, you know, face pose, whatever. I love how the tagline is, "We will rock you." And again, this did have a very good soundtrack. I'm pretty sure there's a scene, there's a scene in this movie where he's dancing and he's literally singing Golden Years, which, I mean, keep in mind, the movie takes place like hundreds of years ago, so I don't know how the fuck he knew. I don't know, maybe he was a prophet too. But the point is, he was pissed off because he didn't want, you know, the movie to be just about him or his face or his looks or whatever. So he was a little disappointed in that. But after this, forget it. I remember, I think unfortunately I was still in high school. I should have graduated in 2000, but that's a whole different story. The point is, forget it. You think ladies loved him before. Everywhere. I mean, this guy was like the new, you know, whatever, Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise, whatever you want to say. But but this is a great movie. Good fun movie. Good little cast too. You know, obviously you got Ledger in there. Mark Addy, who he had the show. What was it? Still Standing. He was in. I don't know. People are gonna give me shit for this, but I don't know. Like, I couldn't really watch Game of Thrones. I liked the first season, and then after that, I kind of, you know. But yeah, whatever. Shut up, nerds. And but he was great in that. But he's always been a funny guy. I always liked him. Rufus Sewell, sorry. I think this guy was just born to be a bad guy. I mean, every fucking movie this guy's in, he plays a bad guy. Holy shit, he kills it every time. Yeah, he was great. Shanine Sosamon, she was great. Paul Bettany, I mean, listen, the guy's killing it right now in the whole Marvel, you know, universe there. Apparently he's going to play Andy Warhol in a movie, which, I mean, you can kind of see, I mean, already, but that should be good as well. Laura Frazier, Alan Tudyk, sorry, I definitely said that name wrong. Tudyk, maybe, whatever. He's a funny guy. He was the guy that was the pirate in Dodgeball, but he's a funny dude. He's been in a lot of other things too. Berenice Biggio. You know, guys, I'm just gonna stop now. The point is, great cast of people, good comedy, good action, a little bit of everything in this movie. Good little movie. definitely check this one out for sure. Very, very good movie. You have a fun time at the movies, you know. And then wait till the end. They have some like an end credit scene about farting. It's just awesome. Monsters Ball. Same year, 2001. Played Sonny Grotowski. That's got to be Polish for sure, right? I think. I don't know. Whatever. Yeah, this is. Well, listen, if you're a Halle Berry fan, you absolutely know this movie. I just want to say this. I recently saw A Simple Plan. It has Billy Bob Thornton in it, and he was excellent in that. I think Billy Bob Thornton is a very underrated actor. You know, I know he got typecast for a while. He did Bad Santa there, whatever, and he was kind of doing the same role for a little bit, whatever. But he's a really good actor, man. He was great in this. Halle Berry, she was great in it. Won the Oscar. Heath Ledger's not in it for a long time. I mean, I'm not really giving that much away, but you know, it's. Yeah. Again, I don't want to give anything away. You got to see it, but you know, he's good in the parts he's got back and forth. He plays Billy Bob Thornton's son in it, and well, let's just say they don't have the best relationship. Yeah, good little cast of people, man. Even Sean Puffy Combs is in it. Jesus, Yasin Bey, aka Mos Def. I know he hates being called that, but man, I think that's still a cool name. I love you, man. Black on Both Sides, awesome album. Peter Boyle's in it. Good little cast, man. This is a. You know, there's some scenes in this movie that'll holy shit moments. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it says after a family tragedy, a racist prison guard re-examines his attitudes while falling in love with the African-American wife of the last prisoner he executed. Oh, the irony. So are the days of our lives. But yes, it's a good little movie. Good little movie. So, yeah, Heath Ledger, again, wasn't in it for a long time, but, you know, still good little role. So, you know, again, like roles like this, like I'm sure Ledger, you know, he knows he's not going to be the main guy in this, but, you know, you work around, you know, a lot of good actors, you know, so... I mean, that's the point of being an actor, guys. Just in general, you know, it doesn't matter, male, female. I mean, you want to go in there and just do your best, and you want to be surrounded by good people and like learn from them, you know, and you know, just have a good time. You know what I mean? So I'm sure that was part of it as well, because he always said he enjoyed acting and you know, bringing out the best in people and having fun with them and all that. So I'm sure this was a part of it. So yeah, definitely check out this one. The Four Feathers. Four Feathers. I'm trying to remember this one. I don't really remember this one. I gotta be honest. I don't think I've seen this one. Oh, it's got the guy with who's obsessed with the plastic bag in American Beauty there. A British officer resigns his post just before battle and subsequently receives 4 white feathers from his friends and fiancé as symbols of what they believe to be his cowardice. Okay. I don't know. Again, it's got that rating of 6.5 out of 10. And I've always mentioned this. I say if a movie is 6.5 out of 10, that is basically the border number where you're either going to like the movie or you're going to hate it. You know, anything below that, you know, whatever, maybe. But yeah, so I've never seen this one. I don't tell you. I don't know. Why don't you guys go see it and let me know? You know, again, I can't do everything here. Oh, Kate Hudson's in the movie too. There you go. Lovely woman. Hold me closer, Tony Danza. Then he was in a movie called Ned Kelly, where, surprise, surprise, he played, well, Ned Kelly. An innocent man becomes one of the most wanted criminals the world has ever known. Okay. Okay, you got Heath Ledger in there, Orlando Bloom. Guys, save some women for us, eh? Jesus Christ. 6.4 to 10. I don't remember this one. I gotta be honest. Yeah, I don't know. I got nothing. So, no, I never saw this one. The Order. He plays a character named Alex Bernier. I don't know this one either. You know what's weird is you look at the movie poster and I mean I don't know if it's just me, but it sort of looks like Heath Ledger, but not really. I don't know. It looks like if it's I don't know. Maybe it's because the like the darkness or something, and the black and the orange. I don't know. I don't know. It's just me. It doesn't really look like Heath Ledger. I don't know. It looks like if Heath Ledger and James Franco had a kid, basically. 5.1 out of 10. Not the best rating. A young priest is sent to Rome to investigate the troubling death of the head of his order. Okay. It looks like he's teamed up with a lot of, or the few people there from A Knight's Tale. Mark Addy, Shannon Sossamon. Peter Weller. Nice. Yeah. RoboCop, of course. Naked Lunch. Oh, fuck. I just saw that movie recently. Holy shit. Like Nelson said, I can think of two things wrong with that title. But the point is, yeah, I did not see this one. I don't know. I don't know. Lords of Dogtown. Came out 2005. He plays a character named Skip. Okay. This is actually based on a true story about the guys, who basically started the whole group, a Dogtown, of like skateboarding in California. It says here, the film follows the surf and skateboarding trends that originated in Venice, California during the 1970s. Yes. So, listen, you could do a whole podcast on skateboarding. Like I said, I tried it once, forget it. I'm just going to break it, waste of wood. But, based on a true story here, like I said before, Heath Ledger's character, he plays this great. Like the voice is very unique. Like, I don't know, he's almost doing like a more rougher version of like almost what like Jonah Hill sounded in, like The Wolf of Wall Street. It almost sounds like he's got the caps on too, and it's a really interesting story, actually. And I swear to you, one day I will do a podcast on skateboarding. Okay, Tony Hawk, don't get mad at me, please. Other good actors too. Emil Hirsch. Well, apparently I heard years ago it was supposed to be John Belushi in a movie. I don't know if that's still going to happen, but you pack on a few pounds. I could see that. Victor Raskus, Johnny Knoxville, John Robinson, Rebecca De Mornay. Oh, lovely woman. William Mapor-Fur, Nikki Reed. Good little cast of people. Nice. Hey, Pablo Schreiber, who's Mr. Ray Donovan's brother there. We all know him from Orange is the New Black. Eldon Henson, the hell of a slapshot in Mighty Ducks. Mitch Hedberg. Oh, shit. Oh, man. Miss him, man. Funny motherfucker. Shit. God, he was funny. Good little cast of people. This is a good little movie. If you got the chance, definitely check it out. Like, even if you don't know anything about skateboarding. I mean, see, that's the thing. Like, when you watch movies like this, I mean, obviously it's about skateboarding and the whole culture and all that, but it should, like, you should know nothing about it. You know what I mean? Go in there and they're going to teach you. That's when you know it's a really good movie. And Heath Ledger's character, he's very eccentric and he's really good, man. So definitely check this one out. Probably a lot of people probably never even heard of this movie, but definitely when you got a chance, watch it. The Brothers Grimm. He plays Jacob Grimm, which is one of the brothers. I'm not gonna lie to you. I saw this movie. I didn't like it. 5.9 out of 10. Not the best rating either. I think I covered this on the Matt Damon podcast as well. Will and Jay Grimm are traveling co-artists who encounter a genuine fairy tale curse which requires true courage instead of their usual bogus exorcisms. Okay, so Terry Gilliam, I love you, man. I mean, you've done so many great things. This one, you know, Monica Bellucci, oh, lovely woman. I believe she played the oldest Bond woman. And you can't tell. She still looks 20. We all know that. But, yeah, this movie, I don't know. It just, I wasn't feeling it. I don't know. Maybe a little bit lacking the story. You know, the special effects are okay and all that. But it just, I don't know. More of the story just wasn't there for me. I don't know. So, you know, it's up to you. Maybe you'll like it. Who knows? Wow, 2005 was a very busy year for Mr. Ledger. Wow, Lords of Dogtown, Brothers Grimm, and then next up you got Brokeback Mountain, okay, where he played Ines Del Mar. Okay, so yeah, it's you know what's funny about this movie? I'll just say this. So I just want to tell this story. So I listen to Howard Stern, and when they first when I first heard about this movie, like they said there's a movie coming out with like two like Heath Ledger and Jake Gyllenhaal, and they're playing two gay cowboys, and like the way they it did look, you know, more of a drama or whatever, but like I mean the way they were talking about it, the way they described it, it's like, you know, I mean like, you know, people are gonna laugh at it because, you know, like, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, like the whole cowboy thing, whatever. Listen, again, I'm not dissing cowboys. I love a good Western, okay? But there's always that kind of, you know, like undertone with cowboys. You know, it's kind of like with bodybuilders too. You know, a lot of them might be gay or whatever. And you know what? In the end, who knows? You know, who cares? I'm one of these people in the end. If you're happy and you're not hurting anybody, that's all that matters. But years passed, and I said, you know, fuck it, let me finally check out this movie. I hear so many good things about it, and I watched it, and I was like, holy shit, this is a pretty good movie. I mean, and you know, I'm going to talk about Jake Gyllenhaal one day, and I'm not saying he's a bad actor. Yeah, I think his sister's a way better actor than him, and again, it's no disrespect to him or like he's done some cool shit like Nightcrawler, really fucking good movie, but. Yeah, but Heath Ledger absolutely steals the show with this one. Yeah, the voice he puts on. I mentioned before, you know, he had the training of, you know, riding the horses. So he's, you know, that's it. You know, he wishes he was more mature for the role, but that's how much I think he cared about the role. Like he didn't want to make it into a joke or whatever, and you know, this being, you know, stupid or, you know, too gay cowboys or whatever, you know. He wanted it to be a real serious movie, and I watched it, man, and yeah, this is a pretty good movie. I'm not just saying that. I mean, this is a really, really good performance by Heath Ledger. Definitely one of his top three. Absolutely. You know, and again, Jake Gyllenhaal was fine in it, but Heath Ledger, I think, stole the show on this one. I mean, he'll even agree on that one. And you know, the last, I would say, like 20 minutes of this movie is just really, it's sad. Let's just say that. Again, I don't want to give anything away, but it's, you know, it's sad. Again, you know, we're living in this world, guys, where, you know, if, again, this is back in the day, this is way back in the day. Okay. So, you know, guys couldn't come out, okay, as gay. They just couldn't. Okay. Even people today, they got that problem, you know. I'm from Toronto. You know, we got the gay pride parade every year. I mean, because of COVID, whatever, slowed down and everything, whatever. But this year they're going to have it again. And, you know, it's very good that they're doing it. And in this day and age, it's way more open. But back then, you couldn't do it. I mean, both these guys were married to extremely beautiful women, Michelle Williams and Anne Hathaway. I mean, oh my God, I don't know how you could be gay being married to either one of those women. But anyways, yeah, no, but in all seriousness, I mean, like, you just couldn't do it back in the day. And this, you know, deals with that whole situation there. And it's just, you know, it's just crazy what these guys had to go through. And I will also say this. You couldn't have picked a better guy to play their boss, a guy who clearly is... not a fan of gay people, like his character, Randy Quaid, which, again, you could do a whole podcast on this guy, because this guy, forget it. I mean, we all know him from Christmas Vacation, and or just National Lampoon's Vacation movies in general. I mean, but the guy's a really good actor, and you look at everything he's gone through the last whatever years and why he gave up acting. It's a whole different story right there. But yeah, that was really well casted. He played that role really well. And again, this is a pretty moving story, guys. I mean, like I said, I put off, seeing this movie for a while, like I did with a lot of Heath Ledger movies, and I said, let me catch up with all these. And this one, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy. But yeah, definitely one of his top performances here, and definitely a must-see for sure. And directed by Ang Lee. So, he's, again, you know who he is. You know his history. But, he did a great job with it. And, definitely check this one out, guys, for sure. So, and you know what? Honestly, even back then in 2005, you got to give these guys props for doing a role like this, but because, you don't have to. You know what I mean? I know there's always that thing. Like, even today, like, it's probably more open now or whatever. And, today, like, you do a role and, people will give you shit for not actually, like being gay or being the nationality or whatever. But, back then, both these guys, they were still straight. Don't worry. Like, I'm just saying, like, but it took balls to do this, man, because some scenes are pretty intense, man. I mean, you know what I mean? It brings a whole meaning to, the phrase pitching a tent. But in all seriousness, this is a really good movie. So definitely check it out. Then he did Casanova, which he plays Casanova. And I mentioned before, he didn't like playing this role. Again, 6.5 out of 10. You could like it, you could not. I don't know. He's got the whole eyes wide shut thing happening in the movie poster here. The fabled romantic Giacomo Casanova. Oh, Casanova. I mean, because it's his, in this day, Casanova, you're known as a ladies' man, which is kind of ironic because the movie before, wasn't so much of a ladies' man. It was literally the complete opposite. So he goes from that to this, and there you go. So after failing to win the affection of the Venetian woman, Francesca Bruni strives to discover the real meaning of love. Ugh, don't we all? Don't we all? You don't have to wear a mask, though, to find out what real love is. Do you? I mean, maybe that's it. I don't know. I've heard people are into that shit. But, I didn't see this one. I don't know. It's got an okay rating. I don't know. It's up to you. Candy. Oh, it's not that. Oh, no, I mean something else. No, the movie's called Candy, and he plays a character named Dan. Yes, this is, again, good movie. Very good movie. Deals with some serious content, involving like heroin and all that, and a huge drug problem both of them had, and they got to get through it. And obviously, the term candy is slang for drugs, or in this case, heroin. So it says here, a poet falls in love with an art student who gravitates to his bohemian lifestyle and his love of heroin. Hooked as much on one another as they are on the drug, their relationship alternates between states of oblivion, self-destruction, and despair. Again, two really good performances. I mean, again, like, the story's pretty simple. They're in love. They got to deal with, their struggles back and forth. They love each other. They want to get the drug, all this shit, but yeah, two very good performances. Got to give Abby Cornish her props. Very good. The back and forth is great. Would I consider this a rom-com? With heroin? I guess you could. But, but in all seriousness, it's a really good movie. When you do a role like this, you gotta, yeah, you gotta get lost in it, man. I mean, so yeah, I mean, they both did a really good job, and yeah, definitely check this one out for sure. I'm Not There, and he plays a character named Robbie. Now, this I'm just going to read the description because even when I saw this movie, I still don't believe it. I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad movie. Well, you'll see. Ruminations on the life of Bob Dylan, where 6 characters embody a different aspect of the musician's life and work. Exactly. It's crazy. Like, it really is. I mean, obviously we know all know who Bob Dylan is. He did not sing the song "Stuck in the Middle." In case you didn't know that by now, that was somebody else that did that. But yes, his work speaks for himself. But yeah, this is definitely this is an interesting movie. So you got Christian Bale, Cate Blanchett, Marcus Carl Franklin, okay, Richard Gere, Heath Ledger, and Ben Whishaw. Okay, they all play different versions of Bob Dylan, doing his thing. It's definitely worth checking out. I mean, is it the best movie in the world? No, obviously it's not the worst movie in the world. It's got Bob Dylan in it and Heath Ledger. Come on, Cate Blanchett. I've always liked her. I've always said she is almost like the female version of Robert Downey Jr. She's just a very natural actor. Like if she's not acting, she's wasting her life. Christian Bale, obviously, it's Christian Bale. So is it the first time these two guys are going to get teamed up, him and Heath? Absolutely not. But this is definitely a movie we're checking out just because of just to see how these guys play the different roles. I mean, Heath Ledger did do a good job there. Everyone's got their own little spin on it. I mean, I haven't seen this movie in a while. Before I remember, I would say Cate Blanchett probably did the best version, I feel. I mean, maybe that's just me. But, yeah, it's a good little movie. 6.8 out of 10. Decent rating. It's okay. I mean, you see it. You may like other aspects of this movie better than, others. But still, overall, a good little movie to check out, for sure. Definitely the concept alone should have you wondering, like, how did all these people play Bob Dylan? So when you got a chance, check it out. So, 2008 comes, okay? 2010 is on its way. What's the future for all these superhero movies? I mean, in many ways you can say Spawn got the ball rolling, or Blade, or in many ways the first X-Men movie came out in the year 2000, started that off. I mean, like, we've seen all the special effects and all that, all the CGI. Where do we go from here? A lot of, the movies, also, I believe this was the same year that Iron Man came out. Now we got serious actors playing, these roles, that we always wanted to see, and then this movie comes out, The Dark Knight, and Heath Ledger plays the Joker. Holy shit. Now, I'll be honest with you, okay? It's like when you heard Tobey Maguire was going to play Spider-Man. You're like, really? Tobey Maguire? Really? Okay. That's, And then you saw him, and he absolutely killed it. And then you got, Heath Ledger playing the Joker. You're like, and I remember the first thing I said to myself, I said, the guy from A Knight's Tale is going to play the Joker? Really? Because, again, like, you're, like, I didn't find all the shit out about the poster or whatever. You didn't like it, whatever. Because, like, you see him on the poster, and you're like, the blonde dude is going to play the Joker? Really? Like, he's the next guy after Jack Nicholson? Really? That's, really? Okay. Yeah, it's just, all right, so let's see what he can do. And everybody saw that trailer, and, we were like, oh, okay, this is, that's not Heath Ledger. That is, this is a guy who's really morphed himself into the Joker. So the trailer alone had us all hooked. And then we all saw the movie, and holy shit. I mean, just wow. I mean, that's what everybody was talking about. I mean, like, he passed away, Heath Ledger, months before the movie came out in the summer. and and unfortunately he didn't get to see all the success it came afterwards. I mean, maybe he wouldn't have liked it. I mean all that attention because he was a shy guy, whatever. I mean, who knows? But it's just, he did say this is the most fun he ever had doing a role. And I tell you, it's like that old saying, when you do something in life that brings you a lot of joy, it's not work. You're just having fun and having a good time, and it'll show in your work, like how much you're having fun in it and how well you're doing it. And yeah, he absolutely killed it. I mean, it was, again, this is one of the best roles in movie history. Absolutely. I mean, but the movie itself, The Dark Knight, I would say, obviously, Heath Ledger's role as the Joker helps. This already iconic movie. I mean, I don't think anybody would disagree that out of the whole Christopher Nolan Batman trilogy, this is by far the best one. I don't think anybody would, I mean, maybe some people would think the first one is good, and the third one, I'll just say there's a part at the end there that's predictable. I don't know, that was just me, whatever. So whenever a movie's predictable, it kind of kills it for me. But still, it was still good. Don't get me wrong. But rating 9 out of 10. I can't disagree with that. I mean, it probably is, at least with me, it is my favorite superhero movie of all time. I mean, overall, you got everything, man. You got the action, the great dialogue, the great special effects, the actors. Forget it. I mean, look at this. You got Christian Bale playing Batman. Okay, so you already established, he's the new Batman in Batman Begins. A lot of people would consider him the best Batman of all time. Listen, I was born in 82, okay? Michael Keaton still kills it, okay? I'm sorry. I'll give Christian Bale number 2, easily. But Michael Keaton is still number 1 in my book, okay? Plain and simple. But Christian Bale still did a great job with Batman. Aaron Eckhart did a great job as Harvey Dent. Apparently what I heard originally, Hugh Jackman, because he was in The Prestige with Christopher Nolan film, which is really good, by the way. If you've never seen that movie, you gotta see that one for sure. He was supposed to play Harvey Dent, but I think it was a scheduling conflict or something. So they went with Aaron here, and he did a great job. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, the Tommy Lee Jones thing in Batman Forever, okay, it's cartoony and all that. But I mean, come on, man, you could have peeled that shit right off. I mean, it looked like a mask they got it like It's My Party or something. But I thought the special effect that once he actually had the face there afterwards, I mean, it looked fucking amazing, man. That was great. Michael Caine playing Alfred. Listen, some roles are just so obvious to give to someone. Michael Caine, he was great in that. Like I said before, when you first saw the Joker, you can see him in that scene. He is fucking frozen, absolutely frozen. You could tell, oh my God, he actually became the Joker. That was my Michael Caine. Thank you. And Maggie Gyllenhaal, who, like I said, actually, it's funny. I totally forgot. He's worked with both the brother and the sister. Yeah, I don't know. I never even thought of that. But she replaced Katie Holmes. I don't know what happened there. I got to be honest with you. I don't know. I think it was the only criticized cast from the first movie. I think it was just such an uproar. I think they just said, "Fuck it, we're just going to replace her," and she did a great job. By the way, side note, again, she was also in the show The Deuce. She was excellent in that. Gary Oldman. It's Gary Oldman, man. I mean, fuck. I mean, the guy had me at True Romance. Ever since then, forget it. I mean, the guy, he said it himself on a skit on Jimmy Kimmel. He's a real actor. I mean, he really is, man. He's just awesome in everything he does. Plays Commissioner Gordon. Great job there. Morgan Freeman. Forget it. You get him, in your movie, worst case, it should be a decent movie. Morgan Freeman's awesome. The voice, I mean, forget it, man. The guy's got the $1 million voice. As Lucius Fox, what What else you got here? You got Monique Gabriela Kernan as Ramirez, Ron Dean as Wirtz. Cillian Murphy came back because he played the Scarecrow before. As Scarecrow, a little scene in there, not too much, a little bit of a tease again, but he had a little consistent role in. Obviously more of a main role in the first one, and the second and third one, they still included him in. That was cool. Chin Han as Lo, Nestor Carbono, Eric Roberts, who I just found out recently, his role. A couple people auditioned for that role, including the late great James Gandolfini, but they went with Eric Roberts. So there you go. Richie Coaster, Anthony Michael Hall, Keith. I'm gonna fuck this one up. S. Zar Rob Bajga. There you go. Colin McFarlane, Joshua Harto, who you even if you know the story or who you know who Batman is, you're really gonna blackmail Batman? How dare you? How dare you, sir? What the hell were you thinking? I mean, my God. And the way Morgan Freeman, let me get this straight. You're telling me. By the way, this is by Morgan Freeman. I don't know, for some reason I sound Scottish. You're telling me that the richest man in Gotham is Batman. That was a great job doing that. Not my impression. I mean, what he did there. But yeah, Michael J. White as Gamble, William Fitcher, who I played in the beginning of the podcast there as the bank manager. I mean, this is what a great movie. This is such a great movie. I mean, it's one of these movies. I mean, I don't know. I'm going to have to watch this shit again after the podcast. I'm not going to lie. I haven't watched it in a while, but you always see clips and things everywhere, and, you just love it. I mean, people, you go on YouTube, people just put all the Joker scenes together. They analyze that. They, get all these crazy facts. And like I said before, I got literally 4 pages of facts that I am absolutely dying to read off to you guys. I tried to get every single thing I could. Okay, got to a point where I'm like, oh, I know I got this one. Oh, I got this one. I got this one. Doubles, triples, whatever. So I'm going to read off all these facts, and who knows, maybe some person in the future, instead of them wasting 2 days of their life, they can just listen to my podcast. Shout out to my 3 fans. I love you guys. And just take all these facts and just do what you want with them, It'll save you a little bit of time. Let's get started. So, as I mentioned before, you can go online and you can see the infamous scrapbook that Heath Ledger had while he was isolating himself. On the cover there, he's got the elephant and the kid. I mean, that almost symbolizes, you got the child life, kid trying to break out and facing this big element like an elephant. So I don't know, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but whatever. Had a whole bunch of newspaper clippings in there, as I mentioned before. Even Christopher Nolan, I think he wanted a lot of the cast, especially Heath Ledger, to watch Clockwork Orange, and believe me, if you ever see that movie, forget it. I mean, that is a Stanley Kubrick trip. But yeah. Also, one character trait that he picked up was licking his lips. Now, he did this because on his face, with the scars, with the makeup, he had 3 different patches, one on each side of the lips, and then one at the bottom there. And it was just something he picked up simply because as he moved his face, he'd always stretch it out and whatever. He just wanted the patches to stay on. So hence, that's why he licked his lips and just licking his face, whatever. And it just caught on, and it just became a character trait that the Joker had. And as I mentioned before, he originally wanted or was offered the role as Bruce Wayne, which I can't see. I'm sorry. I mean, again, I'm so glad everything worked out. But and then afterwards, he, obviously Christopher Nolan really liked him. He basically always wanted him in the role. I think there's some actors out there, that wanted the role, but I mean, like Indian Christopher Nolan wanted him, and he really liked his performance in Brokeback Mountain, so that's what kind of sealed the deal for him. Yeah, and the mask that he wore for the bank robbery was from the 1960s Joker, of course, Cesar Romero. Unlike Cesar Romero, Heath Ledger had no problem shaving for the role. Yeah, it's from an episode Joker's Wild. So that's where the idea of the bank robber mask, especially the one that Heath Ledger wore, that's where the idea came from. If you look on the truck, where they're driving down, when the truck gets flipped, whatever, the bullet holes where the Joker is driving, it's shaped of a smiley face. And as I mentioned before, the scars on his face are based on the Glasgow smile, or also known as the Chelsea smile. From Glasgow, it's from the 1920s and 30s. And someone mentioned before, the actor Tommy Flanagan from Sons of Anarchy. Oy. And he was Russell Crowe's buddy, the guy in the crowd there in Gladiator. And he's got a scar on the side of his lip. And yeah, he said he was attacked just outside a nightclub and, from a gang, whatever. And yeah, it's similar to that scar. Now in the movie, that there's two scenes that clearly the character of the Joker is actually taping himself. Looks like a handy cam or whatever. The first one, actually they were both done by Heath Ledger. Now the first time he did it, Christopher Nolan looked at it and whatever, put his just wanted to see if he's doing it right or whatever. But he said Heath Ledger did such a great job. When he did the second one in the movie, he didn't even bother, like looking at it, editing, like doing anything else, or giving any points, because, he knew that Heath Ledger knew what he was doing. So it really does give you an idea of like how much Heath Ledger really did like directing. I mean, again, I'm sure if he was alive today, he'd definitely be directing, a lot of stuff. And as I mentioned before, if you watch the special I Am Heath Ledger, I mean, you'll absolutely get a great idea of what... like how much passion he really did have for directing stuff. Now, the infamous pencil magic trick scene. Apparently, it is called an actual term, which is called transorbital intranscranial penetrating. Now, did I fuck that up? Absolutely. But you can look it up yourself. It is an actual medical term. So, a palindrome, and this is where it really gets hardcore nerd here, is 25052, reference to the two-faced coin, because everything is the same forwards as it is backwards, spelled the same way, because it's a two-headed coin. Or I thought I'd just throw that in there. Yeah, and Nolan wanted to only do one movie originally, but, eventually it became a trilogy. We all know that. But the concept of him thinking about the Joker in jail, he really got caught up in that. So, and then once after he saw Heath Ledger in Brokeback Mountain, we all know the rest is history. There's a scene in the movie where it shows the Joker card, and it says, "Will the real Batman stand up?" Now, obviously, that's got to be a reference to Eminem. Nolan's Slim Shady fan, who knows? The scars on Joker's face. Now, it always changes. At first, he's like the whole father thing. Then he did it because, his wife, whatever. And, you really never know the story with the scars. You don't know. It's one of those things, just leave it up to the audience. It's up to you. Whatever. I mean, does it really matter? I mean, does it really matter what's in the briefcase in Pulp Fiction? No. It's up to you. Okay? Now, the only scene in the movie where you don't see the Joker without makeup is when he's in the crowd there of the officers, and you just see it for like a brief second. So again, the scars have nothing to do with the makeup. You see the scars are actually real and, part of his body. Also, I do have to say that it was funny when the Joker quoted Jerry Maguire, "You complete me." I don't know why he did that. I don't know if he improv that. Who knows? I mean, but that was awesome. As I mentioned before, when the Joker was clapping in jail, that was completely improvised. He just, he just felt like clapping. Like who doesn't want to belong? And after that, when he tries to escape from the interrogation room, the one guy comes in after Batman there. You can see right behind him, he's got the glass on the ledge, and that's that's what he holds to the guy's throat. I mean, it happens really quickly. I mean, like I almost had to I did pause it just to see like he actually did have it, because I didn't even think of that, like how he escaped. I'm just like, he's a Joker. He'll figure something. So but again, glass on ledge, Heath Ledger. I'm reading too much into this, aren't I? Okay. Now, fire seems to be a big theme in this movie. As soon as the movie starts, you see the bat signal there, engulfed in flames there, or not flames, but like the smoke or whatever, and he has to rise above it, all that. Dude, even the movie poster, fire, it's a whole thing there. Even, burns the money, and then even Michael Caine's like, some people just like to watch the world burn, Again, I got to work on that. But, so the whole sense of fire and, Batman's got to be the one to put it out. So, because Joker keeps starting all this shit, and there you go. And as I mentioned before, the expression when the bomb went off, I mean, that was completely improvised. He's looking around, his face, whatever. So, I mean, that... Like when he did that face, like that face, like he knew that both ships weren't going to. I should have said at this point, if you haven't seen this movie, which I can't imagine any human. I mean, this movie came out like almost 15 years ago. Hasn't seen this movie yet. Some spoilers are coming up. Thank you. But anyways, I mean, the expression he had, like it was so like reminiscent to like almost like the sad clown. Actually, I'm just thinking about that now. Yeah, like literally the sad clown. Like you never really saw the Joker like that sad before, really. I mean, sometimes you see like a little frowning face, boy, but like he almost looked like he was gonna cry. I'm not saying you got to feel sorry for him or nothing, but I mean, he did a great job with that. Obviously, before he made the reference to, like him being a dog, and like if he catches a car, he doesn't know what the fuck to do with it, whatever. And of course, when he pokes his head out the window, very iconic moment in that movie. He's imitating a dog. Because dogs love to put their heads out in windows for some reason. I don't know. Maybe it's the breeze. I don't know. Who knows? Now, obviously, you haven't played the Joker in a while. Anybody in the movie yet? Very iconic. Of course, you got to give some props to the previous stuff beforehand. So obviously, when Joker's in the street there, he's facing off against Batman. It's reminiscent to the original Batman, Tim Burton, when Jack Nicholson is in the street. And he pulls out a gun with a pistol that every guy wishes he had. And, it's reminiscent on that. Of course, it ends differently, but still, a nice little nod there. Now, I should say this. Obviously, with all these facts I'm reading off, it's going to be all over the place. So I'm not going to go in order of the movie or whatever. But one thing I did notice, and this is just me. Now, the last scene in The Dark Knight that the Joker has, I mean, he's just hanging off, because Batman got him there. I don't know if it's just me, but it's very reminiscent to like him hanging off like a bat, and the whole thing is, he talks about him having an ace in the hole with Harvey Dent and all that, and him, making him evil. It's like worst case scenario, I turned him, he'll carry on my legacy if something, happens to me. So it's almost as if like Batman has become the Joker, like a bad guy in a sense, and, he ends, with the laugh, which again, he just does very, different variations of the laugh throughout the movie, but he's like hanging like a bat. So it's almost like saying like he's the new, or in his sick mind, he thinks he's, the new good guy, aka the new Batman. Now, when they're laying out all the weapons on the table there, it's just like a couple knives or whatever. But for the most part, Joker's favorite weapon in the movie is fire. Because they made a point saying that in the end, to make a fire, it's not that expensive, so it's very cheap. So in this one, he didn't have a gun. It was just, he's basically just using all these like elements of nature almost. So, and he figured fire is very effective and does not cost that much. And also one thing I thought of is that, the concept of the Joker, being in a deck, being the wild card or whatever, being, of course, in the movie there, being the wild person, whatever, it's almost like he has a gambling mentality, because when you play cards, for the most part, you gamble. So, it's almost like he's having this, game, by himself, but also like involving everyone else around him, and living up to the name of the Joker, hence the wild card. Also, another movie that Christopher Nolan wanted people to watch while making the movie is the movie Heat, especially the heist scene. If you ever seen that movie, I mean, it's got one of the most intense shootouts that I've seen in the movies, for sure. So they wanted a lot of the characters to kind of like feel that vibe and, feel like you're, this could be your last moment. So they wanted to keep up that adrenaline. Because again, let's keep in mind, what doesn't kill you makes you stranger. And the paintings of Francis Bacon inspired the Joker face. And I mentioned before that, he did isolate himself for a week, a month. I was told it could have been up to 6 weeks. So, I mean, that's a long time to isolate yourself. So that's pretty crazy. He also got a lot of inspiration from ventriloquist dummies, just the way the facial movements, were, like how he moved as the Joker. One thing I heard is there's a Tom Waits interview on YouTube you can check out, and the way he talks is very reminiscent to how the Joker sounds. So a lot of people say that he basically got the idea from that interview to how to sound like the Joker. The makeup was not bleached. A lot of people thought that, but it's not the case. His idea for the makeup, it wasn't his, but they did go back and forth with a lot of different people. But yeah, he did apply the makeup himself. Dry paint like on his hands and his nails, to make it look like he actually did do it. And you can see it in the movie that on his hands, he wanted to make it look like, look, the Joker, he doesn't have much, but he still, knows what to do, and he creates his own look. You can see by looking at his hands. It's like you see somebody that works construction or whatever. I mean, they got the dirt underneath their fingernails. That's proof that they do it themselves. And a lot of times when the Joker killed people, he did it without looking at them. A lot of people say it's just because it just shows how much non-remorse he has. And also the idea was taken from the graphic novel itself. Ron Zimmerman, who did the score for Batman, this is an interesting fact. So the scene I played in the beginning there where, he first reveals himself. He takes off the mask. The music, it's like, duh, and then it takes off the mask. He's like, duh, duh, like that. They say it goes from a D note to a C note. DC Comics. Now, was that done on purpose? Who the fuck knows? But interesting nerd fact. Again, Joker has no fear. All he wants is, to create anarchy, and again, the whole serial killer type there. Again, like after Jack Nicholson, he knew what he had to do. He just had to up it that much more and just make it that much more psychotic. Now, before the Joker enters the scene there with all the robbers, like in the restaurant there, whatever, or in the kitchen, it showed a picture of the bank there. The money's all gone. It's in a couple piles, whatever. The date there is 2008-7-8, which is the exact date of the movie's actual release. Now, this is an interesting fact. So, when you look at the scene where Harvey Dent is giving the speech there, you live enough to become the villain, whatever. a little bit before that, in the background, you can see an actor or just an extra that looks very similar to Heath Ledger. Now, it's not Heath Ledger. A lot of people say it could be a stunt double, but a lot of people say it's almost like implying that he's there without makeup, which, I mean, it's kind of bullshit because, I mean, clearly it's not him. He doesn't have the scars or whatever, but again, good folklore. The scene where the Joker's lying on the pool table, he's in the garbage bag, people think he's dead. He actually stabbed the two guys, and when he stabbed the two guys, he's actually using their bodies to actually raise himself up. I mean, like people catch the shit. I don't know. Like I'm looking at all these facts online. Like I didn't even catch that. I mean, it fucking happened so quick. So, and there's a part in the background where it says laughter is the best medicine, and you can see that somebody put in S as in slaughter is the best medicine. Now, it could have been the Joker that put that. Who knows? Now, as I mentioned at the end where he's hanging and he's laughing, I mean, it's almost as if he's saying that he has the last laugh. I mean, he could have ended it with saying something or whatever, but I think they went, I think they're trying to decide like what to put, there's the last thing. They went with that, and I think it ended pretty well. Like I said, it's almost like a bat hanging, and literally he's getting the last laugh. So I mentioned the great movie Heat before. Christopher Nolan wanted people to, kind of feel the vibe of that movie. And the interrogation scene between Joker and Batman, I never even thought of this until they made a mention about it. It is very reminiscent to the Al Pacino, Robert De Niro scene back and forth. You see the one person's face, you see the back, and then vice versa. And then it goes back and forth, and they even said like certain camera angles, they had like the face on the opposite side, and he wanted to make people feel that like you were right there, like the scene in Heat, of course. Now, as I mentioned before, Katie Holmes was not in this one, but I did say the thing before where they did make the reference to Jerry Maguire. I mean, a lot of people think that's kind of a knock on Katie Holmes because at the time Katie Holmes was going out with Tom Cruise, so. Again, I don't know. I think people are diving way too deep into that, but who knows? Also, in the interrogation room, when Batman gets his information, he just leaves. But originally, when he was leaving, he was supposed to kick Heath Ledger and then leave. But Christopher Nolan thought it was that was just too much, and he just left it with him just leaving. So when Heath Ledger was the nurse, apparently when he was younger, his sisters would dress him up as a nurse. So again, is that more of an ode to that? Who knows? But he also had a pin that said, believe in Harvey Dent, which keep in mind, when they were doing promotion for this movie, they had a whole website devoted to that. And I mean, a whole thing too, where they would have like cakes with like clues and stuff like that, and people would try to find clues and find stuff and lead them to other things, and it was a whole marketing ploy for this. I mean, there's so much stuff. I mean, you could see more of it online, all the pictures and all that, but it was, I mean, they were definitely prepping a lot for this movie. Now, obviously, with the Joker's past, well, you don't know where he came from. I mean, you have no idea what his background is, but a lot of people would say because, the way he was able to handle the gun in, the soldier scene where he didn't wear any makeup, on some level, he must have had some kind of military or army training or something like that. And maybe he was in the army in the past, and that's where it all comes from. The scene where he is with Harvey Dent in the hospital, he's pointing the gun at him, but if you look closely at his fingers, he still has his thumb on the trigger, which is implying that he's still in control. Now, the scene where they're showing the second tape that the Joker did, Anthony Michael Hall's character, you could see he's reading off the sheets there, and they're falling. That's because he's hanging upside down. Sorry, I think that was Batman going by on the bike there. Now, as I mentioned before, obviously, who doesn't want to play the Joker, okay? So a lot of people that threw their names out there were, one person was Steve Carell, another person, Adrian Brody, Robin Williams too. It's funny too with Robin Williams. I mean, rest in peace. Another guy we lost way too soon. I think originally, for the first Batman with Jack Nicholson, I think at one point he was in talks or whatever to play the Joker. And then later on, I think he was in talks to play the Riddler in Batman Forever. And then in this one, he put his name out there again. And, what can I say? 3 strikes, you're out. So, but yeah, I think it's pretty safe to say that Robin Williams has still left a hell of a legacy. But yeah, I mean, who wouldn't want to play the Joker? So, but then eventually, Ledger, was definitely, the right man for the job. And as early as July 2006, he was offered the role, and the rest is history. First 2 comic books of the Joker that the Joker appeared in definitely had a huge influence on this movie, and a lot of the way he looked, characteristics, stuff like that. Nolan's brother Jonathan actually was a big help in convincing his brother that Heath Ledger should play the Joker. Studio execs, obviously they doubted him. I mean, listen, I think at one point we all doubted him. Again, we're thinking, the Joker's not blonde. What's going on here? But again, proved us all wrong. The Testament of Dr. Andes from 1933, character traits, Nolan's essential to writing a supervillain. So, yeah, he always says that. It's, again, definitely paid off. Jerry Robinson, the co-creator of Joker, was a consultant on the movie. Obviously, when Heath Ledger took on the role, he wanted to definitely, for it to be, different from the Nicholson role, maybe have a couple things here and there, but for the most part, be its own character. And then as soon as he was offered the role, he literally said 5 seconds later, he knew exactly what to do. The rock and roller Sid Vicious was actually an inspiring person for the Joker as well. When they first were coming up with concepts of how the Joker should look, it was pretty much the same thing as he looked in the movie, except he had short, spiky hair, which I'm assuming was kind of like the Sid Vicious kind of thing there, except it was green, obviously. But I think they definitely made the better decision with the longer hair. It just looks better. That's maybe just my opinion, but yeah, the chain wallet, I thought that was a nice touch. I'm a 90s kid, so why not? A lot of times when they were just in between shoots, he would like to stay in character. I mean, he did know how to turn it off and on, but there'd be a while where he would just snarl to himself in a corner, like when the cameras were off, just to kind of, keep the whole vibe going of the Joker. He smoked cigarettes, but at the same time, he still gave hugs out to the crew, and like in the beginning of shooting and at the end. So again, he knew to turn it off and on, So this bullshit that he didn't know what to do, or he didn't know how to turn it off, it's stupid. As I mentioned before, he didn't get much sleep. I at times his body just felt literally exhausted. Now, one thing I was dying to know is, where did they come up with the concept, why so serious? And for the love of me, I just could not find it. I mean, if someone knows out there for sure, 100%, please let me know. But the closest thing I could find was basically, I mean, it was written as why so serious. So he didn't improv that or nothing like that. But it's almost a spin on why aren't you laughing? So it's more of a, like, oh, why are you so serious? So just, that's it, because, he always wanted to keep people laughing, but he obviously wanted to make it more darker. So, it sounds more serious, hence why so serious. some person said online it's kind of like from the saying like "Why so tense?" That was used in the movie Heathers. I don't know if that's true, but who knows. The electric shock that he got when he, well, the one henchman touched Batman there, obviously to protect him from being unmasked. Me personally, I thought it was very reminiscent of like the whole handshake, him, shocking people, hence, like a clown, the Joker. The one clip out there that's, it's still eerie to watch where they first heard that Heath Ledger died, and they see Jack Nicholson coming out of a restaurant, and they told him, "Oh, Heath Ledger died," and he pauses for a second, and he just says, "I warned him," But a lot of people think it's like a reference to the sleeping pills or whatever. I don't think it is. It's just more like it's just a lot to take in for the role as the Joker. So you're just kind of just warning him. Get ready for it. It's going to be a lot of work. And there were rumors that he was going to be in The Dark Knight Rises. It's not clear what scene he was going to be in. A lot of people say it was supposed to be like that court scene, where they had the scarecrow there. So that's possible. But he did want him to make another appearance. Hence that's why he was still alive at the end of this one. And also, if you think about it, there is, or there would have been a Joker reference in every Nolan Batman trilogy movie. I mean, in the first one, it shows the card, implying that Joker's going to be in the next movie. Then he was in this one, and the next one, he would have been in maybe a scene or two or whatever. But it would have still carried on, like the whole theme of the Joker. And also, Christopher Nolan did offer Heath Ledger the role even before the script was even written. And Heath Ledger also said, trying to find like how this character would sound. I mean, I talked about Tom Waits before, but he also said, when you're trying to find the voice, you're trying to find the breath. And when you find the breath, you'll find the way how the person talks. And that had a lot to do with him trying to find the voice as the Joker. Now, the one dinner scene where Batman enters, says his thing, and then right after, the Joker comes in. That whole scene, they looked at it as like almost like a stage, like almost like they were doing a play. Like everybody's in the background there, they're all doing their own thing, and that's how they played that. And Heath Ledger also referred to this movie, The Dark Knight, as being a popcorn movie. And as he was describing it, he almost didn't seem like it was gonna be a success, or he just didn't know. I mean, like he thought worst case scenario, it's a movie, you go there, enjoy your popcorn, you enjoy the action, and that's it, But again, he said he had a great time making the movie. And he was even quoted as saying, "I think it's going to be good." Dr. Crane, Scarecrow. A lot of people say that a lot of the Joker's story has to do with him escaping from Arkham Asylum, where all the patients and criminals go of the city of Gotham. He performed the medicine on him, that makes, people see their fears and all that. And he experimented on him. Hence, like the mentality and, that's where, the Joker, gets his crazy traits from. Again, it's just a theory, but who knows? And also, there's also another theory that the Joker might have worked at Haley Brothers Circus. And the theory with this one is pretty crazy, where they're even implying almost that, not only did he work at the same circus that Robin worked at, with his family, maybe somehow he's maybe related to Robin somehow. I mean, again, we're really stretching it, but again, they're just theories to play with. Who knows? Also, when he played the nurse, the red hair, it's kind of similar to Rachel's hair, like not as red, but I don't know, it's kind of just being reminiscent there. Maybe he's trying to, be the woman that Harvey Dent can never get, or he never did end up getting. Who knows there. Now, I did mention the bus before, the whole explosion scene there. I mean, that's crazy, and the whole thing here. it was supposed to go off. He just rolled with it. He improv that. But, when he got on the bus, he just looked straight ahead. He was never supposed to look back. There's a deleted scene where it shows him on the bus, and even there, he's just looking straight forward. The explosions keep going, but Nolan decided it was better. They thought it was too much. I mean, they already showed the thing exploding, and they were supposed to show inside shots as well of it blowing up, and they thought, it's just too much. Let the scene just speak for itself, and then he got on the bus there, and then that's it. I mentioned Spawn before, Michael J. White. He's in the movie here. And he said, working with Heath Ledger, it wasn't serious at all. It was a very relaxed atmosphere. I mean, he would tell jokes. It was just very chill. He even said at one point where, he was talking to him like in that scene, and Heath Ledger didn't even have to be in costume, but he wanted to be in costume anyway. And he even asked him for again, he didn't have to do that. He's just doing it just, to get more of a reaction from everyone else. They even asked him for advice. Oh, does his voice sound good to you and whatever? And Mike's like, yeah, man, it sounds good. Whatever. It's he's like, he's asking me for advice. That's crazy. So, again, and he said all this shit that you heard about him, being miserable and all that and staying in character and whatever. It's all bullshit. So he created a very relaxed movie set. When he was in the hospital and he went for the hand sanitizer as a goof, that was improv. Sign of things to come for the year 2020. But anyways, Aaron Eckhart, like I said, did a great job with playing Two-Face there. He said that him and Heath Ledger shared a trailer, sometimes he would talk to himself in the corner in the hospital scene to just kind of, prep himself, for a bit. Even up to an hour, sometimes he would do that, just say his lines. And then at one point, I think he was ready to go and he raised his hand, Eckhart, and then Heath Ledger just grabbed his hand and, almost like, okay, we're ready to go, whatever. And then, they went at the scene, whatever. And, at the end of the day, he puts his hand on his shoulder and said, that's what acting is all about. and that's it, man. So again, all these stories, he seemed like a really chill guy. When he was in character, okay, or when he was doing the scene, okay, yeah, that's when you do it. And then afterwards, that's it. Job's done, have a good time. Although you got to be careful when you have a good time, because when they're taping certain scenes, the Joker and all that, and SWAT, one camera did get destroyed, an IMAX camera, and that cost them $500,000. So, but I think they made back their money, I'm pretty sure. But even Christopher Nolan, you said about Heath Ledger, he said, he was quoted, he was fearless. So there you go. Obviously, we all know he won the Academy Award after his death. I remember that night. It was pretty obvious he's going to win. You know what I mean? There's one story I heard, apparently, and Seth Rogen, I think, told this, where, this is so... this sucks to be in this position, but he goes in the elevator, and he goes in with a woman who's... holding an Academy Award, and I don't think he knew who it was, and he said, "Oh, it's great to be in the Academy Awards," and he's just going on and whatever, and then it ends up being Heath Ledger's relative, or his mom or sister, and and he's like, "Oh, geez, I'm so sorry, I didn't know," it's geez. That could only happen to a stoner. But anyways, I love Seth. I'm going to do a podcast on him one day. But one thing I found interesting too, and even doing this review, is, Batman, he's always has the makeup around his eyes. And then what does the Joker do in this one? He's got black around his eyes, So it's almost like he wants to... be his own character, but at the same time, he really just loves the idea of Batman. It's almost like he's imitating him as well. And the whole smile, like you can see the fiery emblem in the movie poster there, against the building there. It's very reddish, but same thing. It reminisces like from the smile of the Joker. It's like the shape of the bat as well. A little bit, not a lot, but it's just a lot of characteristics, of Batman on the Joker's face. And as I mentioned before, the whole smile, speaking of, comes from Glasgow, like I said before. But it's also reminiscent to the Black Dahlia case in LA from 1947, from Victor Hugo's novel, also The Man Who Laughs, and also the movie that came out later on in 1928. And of course, like I said before, a lot of facts, guys. I don't have to tell you. That's pretty much it. That's, if you guys can fill in the blanks, please do. But, again, people thought that this cost him his life, this role. It didn't, he had a great time doing it. I mean, again, keep in mind, the movie was already wrapped up, for, months after that, he was already working on the next project. And, I mean, like he created something really special. So, it's just absolutely amazing what he did. I mean, it's beating a dead horse at this point. I mean, everybody knows how awesome this movie is, like how great he was in this. And again, in my opinion, the best superhero movie of all time. So this kind of goes without saying. But if you have not seen The Dark Knight, go out and see it. What am I saying? It's 2022. You don't have to go anywhere. You can sit your fat ass home, push a couple buttons, and that's it. You're good. Sorry, I was thinking of 1999, where you still have to, rent VHSs, and to you millennials, I'll explain what a VHS is later, and then I'll really blow your mind. And I'll talk about Beta. But the point is, this is an excellent movie. It goes without saying at this point. So if you have not seen this movie at this point, go out and see it. I guarantee you will have an excellent time. It's a great watch. It doesn't matter, even if you're not a superhero fan. It's got a little bit of everything in there. So definitely check it out. And the last movie, unfortunately, that Heath Ledger did was the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus, where he plays the character Tony. And this came out in 2009. Now, because obviously he passed away while making this movie, he was supposed to be, the main guy, obviously, Tony. But what ended up happening was, they were like, okay, so what can we do now? Do we find another actor? Do we, rewrite it? What do we do? Again, working with Terry Gilliam, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. But, you know what? They were like, okay, let's just have this character do different roles or played by different people at different times. So they got Johnny Depp, Colin Farrell, and Jude Law. So I saw this movie for the first time like a few years ago, and it's not bad. It's all right. I mean, it's a little trippy. I mean, it makes you wonder like what, Heath Ledger would have done with the rest of it, but it's an interesting concept. You definitely, I mean, I talked about the whole concept of, like these, him and Christopher Plummer dealing with the, the shitty weather there and all that. But yeah, you could tell. Sorry, I was just watching a bit of the trailer. I could have sworn I saw, I think that's Tom Waits. Holy shit. Oh, isn't that ironic? Okay. But, so it's a little bit of a trippy movie, I'm not going to lie. Rest in peace to Vern Troyer, by the way. And Plummer, of course. But, it's a good little movie. I like it. I mean, nothing too spectacular or whatever, but I liked it. That was all right. So, again, guys, I mean, it just, the thing I like most about Heath Ledger is that, like, especially after watching I Am Heath Ledger, the special there, is that he really, did care about acting. Like, he wasn't just a guy who depended on his looks or whatever. Like, he was really serious about acting. And, the whole thing with him making all these like little mini movies and all that, like, he really had a craft for it. So, I mean, who knows? I mean, what he could have done. I mentioned before the Queen's Gambit there. I mean, I'm assuming he would have probably done it. I mean, so, but God only knows what else he would have done, so. But overall, I don't know. Couldn't really find anything bad to say about him, or just people say it. Just and I don't think it's a post-death thing. It's really, he was a good dude. I mean, he had fun making movies. He made sure other people had fun too, which is really important. Because when you're on set, for God only knows, like at least up to 16 hours some days. I mean, listen, you're either gonna love the person or hate him. And in the end, you got a job to do. You got to go there, do the best you can. No one's forcing you to make friends with anybody, but just create a nice atmosphere. And it always seemed like he did do that. Like, he was very appreciative of, what he was given in life. And, it's really cool to see that. So again, he died way too soon. And, but I mean, because of all the roles I've listed off, especially obviously The Dark Knight, him playing the Joker, he will definitely not be forgotten anytime soon, if not ever. So, Mr. Ledger, thank you very much for all the years of entertainment. Thank you very much for turning down Spider-Man and Batman so you could obviously kick ass as the Joker. I will never look at a pencil the same way again. Even Christopher Nolan was like, there's no way they can pull this off. He wanted to make the pencil CGI, but the stuntman that did it, he pulled away the pencil last minute, did it quick, took a couple days to tape. They had the special table there. Don't worry, everything pulled off great. Everything was great. It's gone. That's it. Everybody's happy. Wearing a purple suit, which, by the way, one more thing I want to say, and this will make you wonder, okay, how deep this character that Heath Ledger did the Joker here, okay? So let me just give you an idea. So he goes in there with all the people, right? Okay, he's just chilling there, whatever. He's telling them, like, I want like half. I want the thing, we killed the Batman, all this. Here's my card, awesome, whatever. He's got all the grenades in his suit. Okay? Now, I'm thinking to myself, like, obviously I know it's a movie and all that. And like some of these grenades, I mean, they got like, little hair triggers or whatever. I mean, you never know when these fucking things are going to pop off, especially when he's got like a little string there, barely holding it onto it, whatever. Here's what I'm thinking. I think those weren't live grenades. I think it was all bullshit. I think the whole point of this, even from the beginning, is that he knew every time, like, he was just cheating death. I mean, as much as he said he didn't give a shit, like, even when he's, like, coming off the edge there and Batman pulls him up again, he's laughing his ass off. I mean, again, that's reminiscent to the Jack Nicholson thing when he is falling and then, at the end he hits the pavement, and he's got the little thing, It still haunts my dreams. But the point is, I think even then he knew he wasn't going to die. Someone was always going to save him. He just knew he was just always going to live. And he did everything he could. And I think those grenades weren't live. I think it was all just a setup. I think he did that just to, fuck with people, Because realistically, how the fuck is Joker making this money? I mean, even if he was a war vet, like, I know that, and listen, a lot of these war vets, they should get way more compensation after, they're done with everything. But a lot of them don't, which is a shame. But, how can you afford all this shit? I mean, he's not staying at the Ritz. I mean, how the fuck is he living? So what's cheaper, to fucking buy bombs or make them yourself? Get some plastic balls, paint them green, make them look realistic. That's it. So I think even then, like, everything was just a game to him. And that's the whole point of the Joker. He's just fucking with you. And even now, I want to end this podcast, but still, we're talking about the Joker. I mean, it's just such an interesting character, and Heath Ledger just did a phenomenal job with it. So, again, thanks, Mr. Ledger, for, all the fun facts here, and just, you absolutely made a great popcorn movie, and something even way beyond that. So rest in peace, Heath Ledger.
Yeah, but he's not just going to be scary. I mean, there are a few surprises there, I think, So that's why I'm in this monster machine of a movie, popcorn movie, if you will, is it was purely a character choice. I can honestly say that, and so yeah, I am to blame, and I can't complain from this point on from what happens from that movie. Because for me, like, what a success is, I mean, the only time that I'm alive and living and expressing and feeling and relating is when I'm on set, and that time between action and cut. And so that's the only thing that's really important, is how that experience is. And how that experience will affect my life, and what I have to give from my life to that experience. And everything that happens after that is just irrelevant. It's kind of, if it's a success, great. If it's not, great, fine. It affects you or it doesn't, but that shouldn't, in my mind, it shouldn't kind of dictate what your choice is. I just want to enjoy myself. I want to learn more. I want to work with good people, creatively and as people, and really just good people. And I think the movie is going to be awesome. Like, I'm very excited for it. I haven't seen anything, nothing. But just from what I hear, I think it's going to be good.